We're just going to go straight ahead. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. We're excited because we're already in the holiday spirit. Some of us have decided that we will not be moved until it's all New Year. Like we've shut down this year and we're totally believing to just step into the new year. So we're excited this morning. We have a resource awaiting us. And with no further waste of time, my name is Shirley Fakwale. I'm the convener of the Mother's Day Out, the founder of Bullying Recovery and Awareness. What we do is build confidence in young people and both parents and young people. We believe that a parent, a mother will not be able to empower a child if they are not empowered themselves. So that's the aspect of the Mother's Day Out. And there is the Bully Recovery and Awareness where we work with the young people. Today, we're having a parenting workshop that was specifically requested for. I I am still humbled at that because at the beginning of the year in April, well, first quarter, we had the Mother's Day out where we had a parenting coach come in and she was absolutely fantastic. But today we're going to have two resource persons and we're going to be talking parenting. We're going to be talking parenting for children with special needs, how to build resilience in them. And then we're also going to be speaking on parenting with our coach, Phinnah. Yes, so what's today? What should you expect from today? All the questions that you have hidden somewhere, please bring them out. We expect this to be a safe space, a vulnerable space for you to ask the deepest questions. We know that holiday season is almost here, and it can be a tough one if you're struggling with parenting, to be stuck in the house during the holiday with your own um children and not know what to do or what to do because of the holiday season. So please, please don't hesitate to ask your questions. Please do not hesitate to ask your questions. We look forward to having you. Phinnah is here and we're excited. We can see a lot of people from. So first of all, let's engage with the audience. Where are you joining us from? We are right here live in Aberdeen, Scotland. Phinnah is in England. So just in the chats, if you could type where you're joining us from, let's just say hello in the language Aberdeen. Adi is joining us from Aberdeen. Welcome. From Birmingham. Oh, Birmingham is in the building. Aberdeen. Okay. All right. Bradford. Okay. Okay. There's Bradford. Yes. Where are you joining us from, please? Yes. Okay. Welcome to everyone joining us from Birmingham. That is such a warm, pleasant, uh, it's so good to meet you. We're glad you could join us. Thank you for joining us. Um, one of the things about parenting, I want you to type in the chat, what is it about parenting that you're struggling with? Or what is it about parenting that you have learned this year about yourself and your parenting style? What is it about parenting that you are probably struggling with, or one thing you have learned that you've put into practice this year that has worked for you? Let's see that in the chat. Are you struggling with parenting or you are fantastic? From Hertfordshire, Mina, thank you for joining. Are you struggling with parenting? What's that aspect of parenting that you struggled with? Or what's that hack that you've learned this year that has just helped your parenting this year? Yes, Ade says understanding my child's unique needs is one of the things she has learned this year. Is there anything you've learned this year? Please share with us. Is there anything that you have struggled with this year with your parenting? Please share with us. This is the place for you to do that, because this is the place where you're going to be able to get the counsel and the advice that you would probably find really, really useful in that journey, on their parenting journey. For me, one of the things I've learned this year that has helped me was from Mother's Day out, when Phinnah told us that you have to be the affirming voice in the life of your child. Like, your child shouldn't look for affirmation from anywhere else. Your children's teachers shouldn't be the ones that will tell you this is your child. Your child is like this. You should be able to speak to your child and affirm your child in a way that gives them the confidence to return home and tell you exactly what happened. And that changed the conversations in my own household. Oh, yes. Dolapo says, I have been growing in patience in her parenting journey. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for sharing that. Thank you so much for sharing that. What have you learned on your parenting journey? Or what is it that you have struggled with on your parenting journey? Like this, I don't understand. I thought I had this bit, but I don't know what's happening, you know. Okay, we need to keep, okay. Timmy says we need to keep teaching our kids and have realistic expectations. I think that one is the truth. I also learned that this year, that they don't have to have eggs every morning. If they can make the cereal themselves, they've done well. I have done well as a parent that morning. Ola says understanding their needs and spending more time with them, also making sure that one, that I am 10 steps ahead of them, flexibility and observation. Wow, Ola, that's your wow. I'm not there yet. Is that understanding their needs and spending more time with that? Definitely, that's something that I really, really learned this year, and I've put a lot of that into practice. And making sure that you're 10 steps ahead of them. I don't know if that's possible, but I know that we're wiser, we're stronger, we're better, and then flexibility as well, and then observing them. So it's just being that person that we're supposed to be, the caregivers who are flexible enough, observant enough, and also using wisdom on this journey. All right. While we're having a parenting workshop, okay, we're still on. Who else? The question is, what have you learned this year, and how have what have you learned this year on your parenting journey, or what have you struggled with? We're sharing that and we're comparing notes. All right. So this year, the theme for today, okay. Tekena says every child is different and unique. Give them a listening ear, hear and speak to them in a way they will understand. Yeah, that totally. I have 3 different nations in my house. I can tell you that they are very different. Very, very different, and that you give them a listening ear and speak to them in a way that they will understand. Indeed. Thank you, Tekena, for sharing that. And our theme today is positive parenting techniques that build resilience in children. I just want to encourage you as parents, that you're doing well. There's nothing wrong with you. You're doing very well. It's not an easy job. It's not an easy journey. It's not an easy position. You are doing well. And I want you to give yourself the credit for that. John says, I've learned to be very assertive and at the same time show love. Yes. Well done, John. Thank you for sharing. Yes. So you're doing very well. You're doing great. It's a lot of responsibility to be caring for another human. And if they are humans with diverse needs and diverse abilities, you're doing a great job. I want to appreciate you for that. I want to appreciate you for the depth of the love that you're sharing, that you're showing towards them. I want to appreciate you for the length of the love that you're also giving in this season to them. I want to appreciate you for the height that you are raising them towards, the goals that you're aiming for them to achieve. Well done. This is December. You started in January. You're still here with them. With all the stress and all the struggles, I'm giving you a thumb up. I'm giving you your flowers. I'm appreciating you as a parent today, saying, well done. You're doing very, very, very well. You might think that you don't know anything about positive parenting, but trust me, you're probably a very positive parent. That's why you're here today. You've chosen to be here today because there is more. The desire to learn is the desire to do better. Like that's what it's about. Some of us saw we had parents that no now you know that no there's no school for parenting. They didn't have a school. So what they did was what they knew, but you are the desire to want to do better than they did is what I applaud you for this morning. So without further ado, I'm going to call up the first speaker for today. Like we said, it's a special session. This session is to encourage, to support parents, mothers with children with additional needs and disability. That's what this first session is going to be. So if you know someone who has a child with additional needs and disability, not a problem. Not a problem, Ella, if you're listening from work. If you know a parent that has children with additional needs or disabilities, please send them the link. This is where they should be because the next session is going to be for them while I introduce the next speaker. Our next speaker is Aderunke Olawiyi. She's someone I admire very, very much. Aderunke, I know you don't want me to introduce you, but please allow me.
Please go ahead.
Allow me read your bio. Allow me read your bio while I make you host. Okay. Okay. So you can put the spotlight on you. I've made you host now. So that it brings you to the center. Aderonke Olawi is the founder, chief operating officer of Serenity. I hope I pronounced it properly. Serenity in Aberdeen, Scotland, the first charity in the Black and ethnic minority community committed to providing beneficial family support service to parents, carers, and caregivers of children with additional needs or disability. With over 15 years of experience in the social care sector and 20 years in the financial sector, Aderonke brings a special blend of expertise to make a distinct difference in the lives of families dealing with challenges of caregiving. As a trainee psychologist, Ade's dedication to supporting families is grounded in her deep understanding of the psychological, emotional, and practical demands of caregiving. Through Serenity, she draws on her broad professional and personal experience. She draws on her broad professional and personal experience to provide targeted support and needed resources to enable families to manage their caregiving responsibilities while enhancing their overall well-being. Ade's background in finance, interesting, equips her with the skills to drive the charity's growth, ensuring sustainable impact and effective service delivery. Through her dedication and leadership, Ade has established a compassionate organization that holds the hands of those in need of guidance and support. Ladies and gentlemen, moms, please welcome with me Ade Runke.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me. And good morning, everybody. Shirley, thank you because you're doing a great job here. You're helping parents, you're holding their hands. I'm very blessed and I'm happy to be here with you this morning. Well done, all moms, all dads. It's amazing what you're doing with your children. I'm so proud of everyone and proud of myself as well. Today we're talking about child disability, and yes, and we will look at ways to build the resilience, especially during this holiday. If you permit me, I'll just share my screen so that we can all engage. I don't like to be the only one talking. I've already spoken to Shirley about that. I'll ask some few questions as we go along, and I will appreciate if we can like pop the answer in the chat box. Questions will be taken at the end of the presentation, and then the one that we can take as we discuss, we'll be able to take them. So I'm sharing my screen just now. Okay. Please thumbs up if you can see my screen. Okay. Sorry, can you see my screen?
Yes, we can.
Oh, thank you. I didn't see that chat box. I think I'm going to move it in the, so, yeah. Okay. So I'm trying to move the chat box. Okay. Yes, that is my, yes, welcome again, everybody. As you can see on the screen, I met a new friend. I'm not going to use the name of the new friend because I asked permission from my neighbor, and no, they don't want to like bring their dog out in public. So that's fine. So I nicknamed my new friend B. And initially, when I met my friend, I was scared because I do not like dogs. Not because of anything, just because when I was 5 years old, a huge dog of my neighbor actually almost ran me down. So I thought it was going to bite me, but it never did. It was just playing rough. So that gave me that trauma. But I love dogs generally, but like coming closer to them, that was just the traumatic side of things. And then fast forward, met this new dog that loves me so much. And anytime he sees me, he's jumping up and I'm running away. And very cute dog, very big and very family friendly, is a Labrador. And I was like, oh, one day I had to visit my neighbor and I'm like, okay, who is this dog? I didn't get to know the dog on time. That was why I always run away. And by the time I learned the story about the struggles of this dog, there's something that changed in me. I had a different perception of this dog. And since then, whenever I see B coming, I'm ready for B. I'm ready to hug B. I'm ready. Like I tell my fears, go away. This is the person that needs all this cuddle. So I would like us to put in the chat box what we know about child disability, because this brings me back to the topic of today, supporting children that need additional help. People call them special needs children. People call them disabled children. But I always refer to them as children that need additional help because I don't see their disability. I don't see anything wrong in those children. So can we please put it up? What do you understand by disability or additional needs? Yeah, I can. Okay, thank you. Thank you that outside coming in. Yeah, a child who needs a bit of more support. Thank you, Timmy. It's a child who needs a bit of more support than their peers. That's very correct. So can we have a couple more, then we move ahead? Yes, a child who needs more patience when dealing with them. That's correct as well. Yes. Thank you, Valerie. A child whose additional needs may not be immediately evident. You're correct. Absolutely. Absolutely. Everyone is correct. Just like we said, children are all neurotypical at the point of delivery until there is either diagnosis during delivery or during scan, that is for some disability, or after delivery. So Joan said the child may need encouragement with the activities of daily living. Thank you very much, Joan. Yeah, so for us, disability comes in variety. We have all children and we have all this notion, we have perception about our children. People will see a child following a milestone that differs from another child, and they'll be suggesting, oh, is there anything wrong in that child? Is there anything wrong with that child? Are you noticing this? So we're going to correct all that today. And that brings me to us defining what disability is, knowing what types of disability that are here, and how to help our children with early intervention, and the kind of support that's available out there. And then that brings me to the next slide. And on my slide, it said, disability, the language and the term has been changed over years. It started like special needs, especially it started like, oh, developmental delays, developmental disorder. There are different names that have been coined into disability. However, in 2024 today, we have a term for disability. One of the terms is neurodiversity. What is neurodiversity? It is a different way at which we, even as adults, we think we behave. And then we bring it back to our children. Yes, we're used to seeing our nieces, nephew, firstborn, secondborn behave this way. But the third one is behaving differently. So that means the child is neurologically diverse from the other one. From the culture I come from, we use the term normal. Oh, a normal child. There's no child that is not normal. All children are normal. But there are children that are neurotypical. And why do we call them neurotypical? It's just because they don't need any extra support. They don't need anything. They're just meeting up with the set medical milestones. Like they will say, when a child is 6 months, the child is expected to be crawling or to start crawling. When you're a year, you're expected to be standing or walking. So those are the set milestones. When children are not meeting those milestones, then people start asking questions. Health visitor starts checking and keeping an eye on the child. But there's some children that just like blast through all these milestones. And those are the ones we call neurotypical children. They behave as expected by the society. So examples of all this neurodiversity, we've got ADHD, we've got autism, ASD, we've got dyslexia. Some children just find it difficult to read because when they're looking at alphabet, A, B, C, D, E, F, G to Z, when they're seeing A, it looks like P to them. So in their brain is wired differently to see A differently. So those are the examples of neurodiversity. We have dyscalculia, and those are the people that find it difficult to deal with numbers. We have those that find it difficult to write the way every neurotypical child writes. And we have some that makes sounds like I'm speaking to you now. And unconsciously, I started making sound like, and then it just goes on. So those are Tourette's. So there are several kind of neurological conditions. And then aside from that, we have some group of children that has learning difficulties, some learning disability, I mean, because all the neurodiverse conditions that I said earlier, they are known as, some of the children are known to have learning difficulties, not learning disabilities. However, the ones with learning disability are children that maybe they have Down syndrome. They find it very difficult. They can't even understand. They can't comprehend. They can't deal with numbers, but they learn differently. They can deal with social skills. They can be very practical, but maybe not cognitive abilities, that their cognitive, the thinking ability, the processing of things is not developed yet. So that's why they call them children with learning disability. And then we have children that have got sensory impairment. They've got visual impairment, speech, and hearing loss. So those are variety of disabilities that we know. And please let me point to us. Disability is not a disease. It's not a medical thing that we need to take children to the hospital for them to be fixed with medication or to be fixed with injections or anything. Is a kind of condition that children have, or even adults now are coming out to say, yes, I noticed this pattern in me, and this is how I operate. How can I manage to fulfill an optimal life? So that takes me to the next slide. Now that we've known what child disability is. Early intervention. Parents, know your child. I'm glad when everyone was asking questions, what have you learned this year about parenting your child, about building resilience in your child? That shows to me that we all know our children. We know what their needs is. We know what they can do. We know where they are now and where they are yet to develop. So that is what makes us parents. Well done, everyone. And then when we have children with additional needs, it requires us extra patience. Somebody said patience in dealing with children. Now we have to build more resilience as parents ourselves. We have to look inwards to see how we can build this strength, inner strength, to be able to support our children. And then that brings me back to saying, yes, you have a neurotypical child and another child that is not, is she or he, or they are neuroatypical. So how do we balance the understanding of parenting this? Because you can't use the same method. You have to know your child's individual and unique needs. Are they all negative? No, they're not. So let's bring it back to when your child is under the 5 years old, let's say a 2-year-old, a 3-year-old just developing. A child that's supposed to be speaking is not yet speaking, has got a speech delay. The first thing, if you have any concern, is to seek an early intervention. Who do you seek that with? The health visitor. Oh, I noticed child A It's been speaking at some point, but now I had stopped. Is there anything I should be worried about? Then the health visitor will take it from there, GP, therapy, and then they start pushing it. Speech therapists will be involved. And as a child progresses into school, you as a parent must now work with the school. School can be a named person for your child. However, you are the parent. You have the first instincts about this child. You know your child. So what to do is not just to tell school what to do, but work hand in hand with school. Work with school to develop an IEP or I don't know what they call it in England. I think it's HCP or something. Work with the school. Make sure you have a plan, an educational plan that is tailored towards the child's needs. Make sure there is provision for speech therapists, occupational therapy. Those are the supports available that will help your child build the needed skills to be able to communicate amicably, to be able to build social interaction, to be able to excel academically. It might not be reading the book fluently like all the other peers. However, they have adaptable method of teaching the children. These wonderful children, we have PSAs or teaching assistants that will take extra time to show them how to learn differently. And most often than not, if we can work with school, I've have evidences in the charity we run of children in the past 2 years. Thank you for that, Phinnah, EHCP in England. Thank you. So we have some children that were non-verbal, absolutely non-verbal. I met this child for the first time during the lockdown 4 years ago. And I remember the mom always complaining, no, school says this, school says that. So we now had to change the plan, work with the school. Okay, this is where the child is now. What can you provide? What do you expect us to do at home? Are we too busy, even after we've known our child? Are we too busy to actually engage with our resources given to bring the best out of our child? Are we leaving it to just one person to do? Are we saying, oh, when they get home, they have a different routine from what they needed so that they can build up this resilience in them? What are we doing? So for the child I'm talking about, we work with school, and now I saw this child 2 days ago, and I was shocked that he called my name. He called my name. He told me thank you. He told me, oh, you brought this for me. Communication has moved from 0 to level 1. And I was so happy at the progress of this child. Why? Because the mom was able to understand the child's needs, engage with the available resources, both educationally and socially, just to help the child. That is what is required of us all as parents. So we have to understand that children are unique. So we have to affirm the strength they have in them. When we are making the routine board at home, are we affirming more of their strength and looking for ways to develop the limitation? Or are we just giving them iPads to engage in with? Rather than build a timetable where you have a timed iPad or technology time and build a physical and social skills in the student where you physically engage with them, or when they can have time to play with your friends or close family members. How are we? I just want us to be thinking now as I'm talking. How are we planning this children's routine? And then we should remember that even if we have, because I've got friends that have two autistic children, maybe one Down syndrome as well, and another one with ADHD, but both in the same family, we should remember that those children have different needs. The way we bring up a child A, we can bring the child B. Yes, it can be overwhelming. I mean, I've gone through the experience, so I'm a lived experience. person in this journey. So you have to understand your child and work with them. So what happens to friends out there, family, siblings? How can they be of help? We have to stop being in denial. We have to be open about it. We have to work with our friends and the siblings, grandparents, uncles, aunties, so that they can understand the strategies we're using to speak with those children. We're using to work with the children. Now Christmas is coming. Most people come together for family reunion, for family Christmas dinner. Do your family know that this is what this child likes, this is what this child do not like? When are you setting the boundaries? When are you bringing them in to support you so that you don't get stressed, you don't get overwhelmed? So now is the time to sit back and say, what works best for my child? Jot it down. What am I doing? I want to foster a social connection for this child during this season. But what works best for him? Oh, for uncle, this is what works best for him. She doesn't like this kind of gifts. Why do we not even use this money to get him this that he can work with? So that's what I would like us to be thinking about. Are we providing a safe space, even during this Christmas and festive period for this child? What are we doing to make the child feel part of the family and comfortable enough and be secured in their own space? Those are the things we need to be thinking about. Those are the working strategy. And when we get them right, then we'll be at peace and the children themselves will be at peace. So moving on. We can't hear you. Sorry.
Yeah, ma'am. How are you? Good morning. Nice to
Okay.
meet you.
I don't think that's for us anyway. Okay, let's move on.
Oh,
No, it's not.
So, what are the things that helps us as parents to look after these
wow.
children? We need support networks. Shelley, and I think someone needs to be muted. Thank you. Yeah. So, what do we need as parents? We need support networks. We need charity. We need the healthcare professional, like I spoke about earlier, who can help us and signpost us accordingly to where our children can get the help needed. Examples are what I put down, like the camps, the speech therapists, the health visitor, the pediatrician, the play therapist. They can help in drawing the needed routine for our children. Then we've spoken about the school, educational professionals, school teachers, head teachers, let's work together. The PSAs, teaching assistants, let's work with them. Charity organization, like what we do in Serenity. We help the children, we hold the hands of the parents, we counsel them, we join them in the educational engagement with school, we help in the transition.
Hi,
Yeah.
Ajay. I'm so sorry. I think I don't know if Shirley can hear us, but I'm really sorry to do this. Can everybody go on mute? There's a lady called Sola. I'm so sorry to do this, but Sola, we can hear your background. Would it be possible to put yourself on mute?
I'm also trying to reach her here, but I don't know what's
Sorry.
happening.
Shirley, you might be able to mute her.
Yeah, I have handed over host. It's Bemi.
Oh, okay. So Ajay, you might be the one who needs to mute her. You might be, because now you're the host. You might be the one who needs to mute her. I think if you go to participants and look for her and then just click on her speaker, that should mute her. Sorry to interrupt. It's just that it was so distracting to hear what you were saying, Ajay.
Now.
She's muted. Okay, thank you.
Sorry about
that. Thank you for doing that. Yeah. Apologies, everyone. we can quickly continue. We're about to round up as well. So I was talking about the support networks. So we've spoken about the healthcare, we've spoken about the school, educational professional, the educational psychologist as well. If your child has any, please work with them so that they can bring out the best for the academic success of your child. And then the charity organizations, we have loads. Please engage with them. Engage with them. It's very important. It helps, makes the journey easier. And then okay, Bimisala, thank you. That's fine. And then for Serenity, we do school transition programs as well. It's a child moving from primary to secondary, from secondary into the adulthood. We see the parent through that time, and then we support the parent through that, the children as well through that journey. And then we have what we call peer support group, where parent comes together, they share experience, a safe space where nobody's judged. So we have Kids Club where children just learn virtually. They engage with this music therapist, and then it helps calm them down. It engages them, improves their social interaction, and it helps with their communication skills. So please engage with your support networks. Are you a person of faith? Engage with your support network. It's very important. Your family, your friends, they are very, very important in this journey. And then the next step is for us to look at inclusive language. Please, let's be mindful of the kind of language we use around families that has children with special needs. We can't call them handicapped children. It's a no-no. We can go ahead and be pointing fingers. Please, let's not do them. Let's just support these families as much as we can. And then another thing is to create an awareness and prevent stigmatization. From the culture I come from, it can still, you can still be a bit conservative around special needs and disabilities. Please, let's enhance our knowledge as individuals. Let's know what all this is. And that will enable us to work together to bring the optimal development in those children as well. And for parents, please, let's continue to seek help and get support and give support as well as much as we can. And for everyone, let's embrace diversity. Let's embrace the diversity. And for parents, let's embrace the diversity within the family. And we shouldn't be in denial. And just like I said earlier, are you a person of faith? Please engage. Don't feel like an outcast. You're not one. Don't feel everyone is judging you. No, it's just about you. It's about your child. Please, let's look back inwards and look at what we work for our children. And this children is asking us. They want to spread their wings. They want to soar. What is your role? All children can achieve optimal development, both emotionally, physically, even academically and socially, if only all barriers can be taken out. And then that will make them thrive. Let's play our role, please. And then can we see beyond the disability? Because they can't see beyond their own disability. Let's love them, let's embrace, let's work with them. And then we'll be okay, we'll not be overwhelmed. Thank you very much, everyone. I hope this has been very informative and helpful. And if you have any question, please do not hesitate to send to the chat box or feel free to use your mic.
Thank you so, so much. Thank you so much for that very, very impactful conversation that we've just had. We're going to leave the questions open time now. Please ask questions. Please ask questions. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you. Okay, the question will be expected in the chat box, and if there's nothing for now, thank you for all the people that said thank you. Appreciate
I think there's a hand raised.
Okay, I just can't see that. I'm sorry. Can we please go ahead?
Yes, thank you so much, Ade, for your presentation. I apologize. I just would rather speak than type. You talked about how important it is for family and friends to support. So for those of us who may not necessarily have experience directly with neurodiverse children or families, how can we support?
Yeah, the first thing I think we should do if we want to support any family that's got neurodivergence is to actually build a good relationship with the parents. That's the first thing. I don't encourage people to go into other families' faces and say, "Oh, your child." Let them be the first person to speak to you openly. And once they can confide in you, then you ask them, what are the children's needs? How can I be of help? There's no parent that will not tell you what they want and the role they want you to play. So first of all, build a good connection with the family. That's what I would say. And then work with them the way they want them to get involved. Thank you. Okay, please pick up Eversy.
Hi, good morning, everyone. Thank you very much for the presentation. Mine is not so much a question, but maybe like a contribution, just in addition to what you've responded to the last person who asked the question. I think that it's important for us to be empathetic towards parents with, neurodiverse children. I think this might be a mixed crowd, but those of us from an African origin, and I don't mean this with any disrespect whatsoever, we can sometimes be judgmental and lack the kind of finesse to deal with such issues. They are very sensitive issues. It's important to understand how to speak with parents with such children, be empathetic towards them, try to understand their particular situation. And sometimes it might just be a case of, how are you? How are you doing? Invite them out for coffee. They might even want to have a break, from their busy lives in dealing with special needs children. So I think we can show a bit more understanding and concern and not be judgmental. Yes, we cannot take away the place of prayer as Christians as well. It's very important, to pray about such situations. But I think it's also important because sometimes you find people saying, "Oh, you didn't pray enough. Oh, this and that," in relation to maybe the well-being of their children, and that's not it. Sometimes life just happens to us. It doesn't mean God loves anyone less if they have children who are challenging. So I think from those people who don't have, such situations, we need to be more understanding. We need to educate ourselves. Forums like this is fantastic to know more about such situations so that we can offer the best advice, support, and help to parents who have children with special needs. Thank you.
Thank you so much for your contribution. Absolutely.
Thank you, Eveze. Thank you so much. Do we have any more comments, questions? Because as you can see, Adionke is about to run. She's actually about to run. So I would like you to ask a question now. If not, you can actually follow her on her social media handles. Adionke, please tell us how we can reach you, connect with you, see the work that you're doing, support in the way we can.
Yes, we're on social media, we're on Instagram, we're on Facebook. So I just typed in serenityaberdeen.com. just contact us even on our website. There's a contact form. Just fill in anything you want to fill in, and then we'll respond to you. Thank you so much. It's really been a pleasure coming here this morning. I'm sorry that I have to go because my calendar is full today because it's holiday time as well. So everyone is just pulling here and there, and I'm so happy to like be of help. So I don't mind helping anyone with information, further information if needed. Please don't hesitate to get in touch. Thank you so much. Thank you, Shirley, for having me. I'm glad I was part of this session. Thank you.
Thank you. We're so grateful for the gift of you. Thank you for the information, the resource. Thank you for expanding our knowledge of our community, the possibility of having this conversation within the Black and ethnic minority community, because it's one conversation that we always had it from one end to the other. But this time, when we see faces like yours, tell us about it. It's how they say it in Yoruba, idele, like it's home. So it's easier for you to see, oh, okay, oh, this is what it means. Okay, this is what you're talking about. And that's the understanding and awareness we're trying to bring into the spaces and the conversation we want to have. So thank you so, so much. God bless you. Have a Merry Christmas, and we'll be in touch.
Merry Christmas, everyone. Yeah, bye.
Thank you. Bye. Yes. Thank you so much. Eze, okay, your hand is up. Your hand's up, Oveze. Okay, let's go ahead.
Shirley, there's another hand up from Sophia.
Sophia, hello, Sophia.
Yes, hello. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank
Good
you
afternoon.
for this event, for this program. And I also want to say thank you to Ade, our speaker. Thank you for all those words of knowledge. But I have a question for Ade. You know, she's gone.
She's gone.
She's
Go
gone.
ahead and ask your question. She would get it.
Okay. No, actually, I just wanted to know her thought because I was privileged to have a friend, somebody very connected to me with a child, a special need child, but very great in handling everything. So I will still go to her for this question, but I just, because Ade is a professional, I just wanted to have an idea what she thinks about it. How far is diet with special need children? How far can diet go?
That's a very powerful question, and I'm so grateful that you asked, Sophia, because you've given us something we're going to come back to. We're going to have this session, bring Ade back in, and we're going to talk about, and maybe bring in a doctor as well. And then we're going to talk about diet, health, and because it's not only neurodivergent kids that struggle with diet. We have children that struggle with diet, that only eat one meal and they've been eating it for years, just one particular thing. So I think you have just kind of exposed an area that we'll address, and look out for that. We'll actually talk about health and eating healthy, and then we'll bring Ade back. Thank you so much, Sophia.
You're welcome. Because this lady, she has a diet for this child. She very coordinated and organized. So since I've met her, I've just been thinking, how far is diet with special need? Well, now listening to her there, I just say, oh my God, let me also hear from her point of view as a professional. What has diet got to? I know diets relate to every one of us, but to special need children, how far is diet? So I just wanted to hear from her too. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Sophia. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for your patience. And I'm very, very glad that from the feedback, we can authoritatively say, categorically say that it was a very, very impactful session that we had there. And it can only get better because Phinnah is right here in front of us. Phinnah, I have an expo for you. I have one insight. Someone said that, you know what, you should go and get funding so that you can have monthly workshops with Phinnah at the Mother's Day out. I said, that won't be a bad idea. You know, the person I said, if we get the person, no. When we get it, like we should actually aim for a monthly workshop. I can see Tolashe. Tolashe is very busy today, but she said, if Phinnah is going to be in, I'm going to come in and I'm going to join in to hear Phinnah talk about it. Without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, this is our coach, our parenting coach, in whom we are well pleased. Phinnah changed perspective for us this year, helped us with parenting, made us understand that intentionality is not just a word. Intentionality is not a talking word. It is a doing word. She taught us that parenting is something that you do. In fact, there was something that Phinnah taught us. This one was so powerful. Like, your child is reading, is on the tablet, and then you call your child immediately and you expect your child to just leave what they're doing and just get up. Like, if it was you, would you stop what you're doing and just go and do something else totally different? You know, she brought respect into the conversation. She made us see a lot of things, and we're really, really grateful, Phinnah, really, because there were so many things in my parenting journey, my personal parenting journey. I felt that this is my story. I felt when my children were in private school, that was enough parenting. I was doing well, getting them up early. The roads were bad. My children that were in primary 1 and primary 3 had to wake up at 6:15 because the roads were bad for them to get to school at 8, you know. And then they still had extracurricular that they had to do. So I had disgruntled, tired children. But I felt if I'm paying the private school fees, I'm doing excellently as a parent, until they called social services for me. And then I was like, I don't understand. How am I a bad parent? Why is social services being called for me? Because my child said something in class. I couldn't place how I became a bad parent overnight. But then I now realized, oh my goodness, I really haven't been parenting. I have been outsourcing my parenting to the school, because all the time I could have used for intentionally parenting my children, I didn't use it. I felt I was, that was enough. But when you said it, and then I was like, the first thing I want to do is I want to know who my children are, because I don't know them. And I want to know what they're like. Aside from that early going to school, aside from homework, I want to really know. So I took my children out of the private school, took them to a school near the house where we can walk to school, where we can walk back, where we can have conversations, where we could do things. And in a year, oh my goodness, in 1 year, I am in awe. And I realized that you can't outsource. That was the first thing I learned. You can't outsource parenting. You need to know who your children are. Yes, you want to take them to the best schools. Yes, you want the best for them. But you cannot do that if you are not deliberately working towards doing that. You have to actually know how to be a positive parent. You have to know what you are building on. The schools will not put that in for you. The schools will not coach your children. They would only do their side of the education, because I thought the school and I were partners in this conversation until I found out that they don't care. Really, nobody's going to come to your house. Those days have passed where your child is and then your teacher knocks on the door. It's gone. This is now you. And thank you so much for April. Thank you for bringing that for us into the room. And this is by special demand. Someone said, she said, please. She saw me at a function. She held me. She said, Shelley, I have a 14-year-old. I want to tell you the truth now. I need that parenting coach. Are you not doing? You have to do something. I was about to tell her that we're done for the year. She said, anyhow, please. Christmas is coming. Oh, I don't know how I'm going to do with this, And then I said, okay, we're going to pull this out and we're going to bring you back to come and do this for us. And we're very, very grateful that you obliged us with all the commitments, with all the things that have gone on in your life this year. Thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, please help me to welcome our coach and speaker, Phinnah Chichi. All right.
Oh, thank you so much, Shirley. Thank you. Thank you so much. I hope everyone can hear me. Yes, good morning. Oh, it's now afternoon right now, just turned afternoon. Good afternoon, everybody, and thank you so much for being here with us today. It's a Saturday morning/afternoon, so I know a lot of times there's a lot of things that we've got to do. Emerald, please, if you can mute yourself, just so that we can not be distracted. Or admin, please help us mute Emerald. Thank you. God bless you. Thank you so much. Okay. All right. I'm going to share slides, but even before I even share slides, I just want to say thank you to Shirley for putting this together. I never take any, I've been speaking now for over 15 years, more than even 15 years. But I never take any chance that I have for granted. I just never do that because it's always an opportunity for me to give what God has given me. I'm Christian, so I speak from my faith-based foundation in everything that I do. So in all the principles I'm sharing here, in all the things that I'm talking about, I just want you to know it's actually foundational for me that with God, God is definitely my foundation in everything that I do and I say here. So thank you so much. Okay, all right, we're going to speak about building resilience in our children. And I'm going to share my screen. I do love to share slides because I may not end up saying so many things, but at least on the slides you can pick up stuff. So that's the reason I do love to share my slides. I don't say everything on my slides, but I use it there as a guide. So give me a thumbs up if you can actually see the slides, please. A thumbs up if you can see the slides. Okay,
Yep,
so we're going to
see it.
speak. You can see it. Okay, awesome. Good. So we're going to speak building resilience in our children. But I have some questions, just about 3 questions I want to ask before we even get into it. And please feel free to use the chat box. I want to make this as interactive as possible because there's so much information we know already about parenting, and I really do love my workshops to have a lot of interactions and reflections. I'm very big on those 2 things, interactions and reflections. So please feel free to use the chat box. I will always kind of go back and forth into the chat box to hear your responses. How does your child's failure in school make you feel? And Shirley has said this at the beginning. This is a non-judgmental zone. We're here to learn. We're here to unlearn, and we're here to move forward in our parenting. Stagnant parenting stinks, and we don't want to be stagnant parents. We want to learn every day in how we parent. So how does your child's failure in school make you feel? Choose one of those things. Frustrated, worried, determined to help them improve, or unconcerned, they can figure it out. I'm going to look at the chat box to see. Worried, okay. Be worried, okay. Okay, I can see worried looks like a very common. C, determined to see them improve. Okay, okay, fantastic. C again. Okay, B and C. So a mixture of answers. Okay, just hold on to those answers that you've got. Okay, okay, one more answer has come in. B and C. Okay, yep, yep. Fair enough. There's no right or wrong answers. I just want to kind of have an idea, and I want you also to kind of think through it as well. Yeah. Okay. The next question is, how does your child's constant mistakes or forgetfulness, how does that make you feel? Because our children will forget things. There's so many times we're repeating things over and over to our children. How does that make you feel? The constant forgetfulness or the constant mistakes, how does that make you feel? And I'm going to go back to the chat box as well. Okay. A and C, impatience. Okay. Okay. Yep. Yep. A, B, and D, encouraging as a thing. Okay. A, then C, then sometimes B. So a mixture. Yeah, a mixture of things. That's good because it shows you're human. These are the answers I'm actually expecting to see, honestly. These are the answers I'm expecting to see. It's not our children's forgetfulness is in that moment. A lot of us are not really thinking about, oh, I need to encourage them. I need to now. It's a lot of us are not, unless you've done a lot of the work. But the mixture of answers you've given the A, the B, the C, the D. That mixture is what makes us human. Yeah, that mixture is what makes us human. And there is nothing like a perfect parent. Nothing. Nothing like a perfect parent. I've done parenting for years, but I am not perfect. What I am is I'm growing. I am growing as a parent. I can see what I used to do before and what I'm doing now. That's what I thrive in, the growth of my parenting journey. So no one is perfect. No one should even aim for perfection because you can never get there to be a perfect parent. So having that mixture is important. But what we do as growing parents then is that we then realize, okay, what is more dominant? Okay, if I'm being impatient today, tomorrow, next year, am I still going to be thinking impatience all the time? Or is there now more of an encouragement? Is there now more of thinking through it? And that's what growing parents is all about. Yeah, being purposeful as well in our parenting. So fantastic. Thank you for answering those questions. I think I've just got one more. And what is your first reaction? Because this is a very common thing with parents. What is your first reaction when to your child when they're not doing enough or they're demotivated? Do you push them harder? Do you have a calm conversation to understand why? Do you feel disappointed or do you give them space to process their feelings? Let me know in the chat box as well, please. When your child is not demotivated, there's a lot of young people I'm speaking to now. Parents have come to me because of demotivation. So what's your first reaction? Dorapa says, have a calm conversation to understand why. Then Timmy says C, then A, then sometimes B. Okay, yeah. Again, these are all is a mixture. Yeah, it's a mixture. It's a mixture. Yes, sometimes I will feel disappointed at first. That's my feeling, but then I don't verbalize that disappointment. Yeah, so that feeling of disappointment is real. Yeah, but the question now is, what do you say from that feeling of disappointment? And in parenting, I like to teach where you can feel it, process that feeling yourself, because it's very important for you to process how you're feeling before you then speak to your children. Yeah, because if not, you can't just jump into calm conversation. There's a process you've gone through from feeling disappointed to asking yourself, okay, I need to speak to my child to understand why. What is going on in my child's life? What is going on in school? Because things may be going on that you don't even know. Ask yourself those questions. Then you now prepare to then speak to your children about it. So again, you see the different stages. So feeling disappointed is very, very, is very important to acknowledge that. Yeah, very important to acknowledge that and then process it before you then have the conversations you have with them. So those are 3 questions I just wanted to start off with because these questions are related to resilience. Yeah, they're very related to resilience. And when you think about resilience, I've got this is a common thing that we think about resilience as being the first thing that many people say resilience is about being tough. Being tough. Okay. Yes. It's about being tough. It's about the ability to bounce back. And I've highlighted some key things in this definition: bounce back, ability to adapt to changes, ability to keep trying over and over again. With the work that I do with young people, those are the 3 things that I focus on: the bouncing back from setbacks, the adapting to challenges, and also keep trying. And I tell you about this, even when we talk about adapting to challenges, it's also adapting to new environments. Many of us have moved to the diaspora. Many of us have moved countries. Many of us have moved cities. Please, do you know that your children are also dealing with the transitions of moving to different cities? Even when you move to different homes, when your children move to different schools, they are having to tap into that resilience muscle if they have it. If they don't have it, then they struggle. And this is why this topic of resilience is so important for us. Because we have constant changes that we're going through. Sometimes it's even a new job for us. There's a resilience part that we need. New school for our children, there's a resilience that they need. New country, new city, there's a resilience that they need. Because they need to adapt to the changes. These things don't come easy. They don't come without the muscle of building it. And that's why it's so important that we learn how to help our children build this resilience muscle so that they can then handle all the ups and downs they're going to go through in life, because our children are going to go through setbacks. That's a given. They're going to go through challenges. That is a given. There's no God forbid in challenges. Challenges will come our ways, but it's what we do in those challenges that matters. What we do is very, very key. And we want them to be able to do this with confidence and courage. That's the key in whatever we're doing. So I've just broken that bit down. You can take a screenshot of that, or later on, I'm sure we can share the slides. But it's that bounce back, the adaptability, and the persistence. Those are the three main areas that I pick on with resilience when I talk with young people. And that's why I said I want to give this to parents, because I want parents, when you're thinking about resilience, don't just think of the word, oh, okay, just resilient. Sometimes resilience has become a buzzword. Do you know what I mean? I want us to go away from the buzziness of it to really, really practicalize it. How can our children bounce back? Now, our children cannot bounce back without making mistakes. Our children cannot bounce back without setbacks. So when our children make mistakes and we then shout at them, criticize them for those mistakes that they've made, how are they going to bounce back? Let me know. How can they bounce back with criticisms? They can't. Instead, what they do with criticisms is that they stay stuck in the shame of that mistake. And our culture, unfortunately, has a lot of shame attached to it. We do a lot of shaming in the African culture. And I know I'm just generalizing it, but African culture is known for a lot of shaming. Sometimes in some resources, there's a shame culture. It's everything you do is about, oh, don't embarrass us, don't shame us. You should be ashamed of yourself. You should be this. We need to resist from speaking such language in our homes. If our children are going to learn to bounce back, then we need to readjust the scripts that we talk about when they make mistakes, because we don't want their mistakes to be something of shame. We want their mistakes to be something where they can grow from. I don't tell parents don't talk about those mistakes. I don't tell parents don't correct your children. No. But what I very much say to parents is do not criticize them. And I have some parents that will tell me, well, but constructive criticism is right. I said, yes, it's right, but many do not know how to constructively criticize. So if you don't know how to constructively criticize, look at my mouth going, if you don't know how to constructively criticize, then please do not criticize at all. Please. Because what criticisms do is that it breaks the child's spirits. It shames the child, and the child is not able to bounce back. Okay, so we'll go through these things as we go along. So, but just please note that criticizing our children actually doesn't help our children in building persistence, in building that adaptability muscle, or even in bouncing back from those mistakes. Okay, so what does low resilience look like? I've just given some few examples. With children, sometimes extreme frustration, anger, or sadness when things don't go their way. You can see sometimes our children that play sports, when things don't go their way, how are they reacting to it? If they fail a test, how are they reacting to it? What are the kind of things they're saying? And Ade talked about knowing your child. You have to observe what are the common words, what are the common phrases that you're hearing your children say. Those things are very key. Your children, you're actually learning about them from what they say. So when you have kids that say, oh, I'm not just good at this, I'll never get it right, oh, I'm never that lucky, just catch those words and don't shout back at them and say, don't say that, you should never say that. No, ask them the question. What made you think that? What's going on that makes you think you're not so good at this? Let me know. Talk to me about how you feel about this situation. Because you want to get your child's insights. The fact that they said, I'm not good at something, it means that there's already a belief inside. A lot of times we focus on their actions, what they're doing, the misbehavior, the character that they're not doing. We focus on that, but there's a deeper thing to that. What is their belief? If a child tells you, oh, I'm not good at this, oh, I'll never get it right, what is the underlying belief behind it? We need to ask our children those questions, but you have to know your child to be able to ask your child. And this is why just knowing your child is so important in this whole thing. Okay? Frequent meltdowns, struggling to calm down when they're upset. When they're upset, their outbursts, all that kind of stuff. Procrastination, refusing to try things that are not familiar to them. These are all little signs of low resilience. And as I say with parents, it doesn't mean it's the end of the world. If you notice any of these things from your children, it's not the end of the world. It just means, okay, I have some work to do in this area. And that's what parenting is about. Parenting is a continuous thing of learning, unlearning, and relearning. Alvin Toffler says that quote that says, the illiterates of the 21st century, they won't be those who cannot read or write. They're going to be those who are unwilling to learn, unlearn, and relearn. And in this process of parenting, if you are not unlearning some stuff in parenting, you're not parenting. There's always something to unlearn in parenting. Always. Always something to unlearn. My daughter is now 18. There are many things I'm unlearning from how I was parenting her before she was 18. Now I'm learning to parent an 18-year-old. So every day there's something that you are learning, there's something you are unlearning in parenting. So be open to that, because when you can be open to that, you can help your children better. And that's what we want. We want parents who can help their children, because the world our children are living in today is not the same as when we were growing up. Our children they have so many voices to contend with. So if you don't get your voice right at home, and that's what I talked about in April as well in the Mother's Day conference, if you don't get your voice to be the influential voice, to be the safe voice that they can come to, there's a whole world out there full of voices that our children will tap into. And guess what? Many of those voices out there in the world may not share your value system. And what a shame that will be. What a disaster that will be for us if our children's ears are more to the world who don't share your values than to the values that we share as families and as a culture. So your voice matters. You are very influential in your children's lives. And that's what I've said here. Without influence, you cannot build resilience. And your influence is not tied to what you provide for them. The holidays you take them on. That's not what your influence is based on. Your influence is based on your voice, what you say, your words, your examples, how they listen to you. That's what your influence is all about. And I've got this visual that I want to show you, because I really want us as parents to start really prioritizing our influence in the family. As I said, you being in the house, you paying their fees, you taking them to school is not enough. It's not enough for that parental influence. And what I like to show parents is the parental influence line, where some of us are very authoritarian. So we're very strict. We've come from strict backgrounds. So we're very strict. We're not really interested in their things. It's what we say, do as I say, just do because I said so. Those kind of things. If you're on that extreme line, you don't have influence on your children. And then on the other side, if you're on the permissive side, where you want to do woke parenting, you want to be their friends all the time, you give in easily, there are no rules, there are no structures. I don't even think parents are on the permissive side on this platform. I don't think so, but that's wrong. I'm probably assuming wrong. But if you find yourself being very permissive, or you find yourself being very authoritarian, you're not listening, you're just demanding respect, no respect. If you're on these two extremes, you have no parental influence. The parental influence is right there in the middle. And you notice that in the middle, I've not put a dot. It's a whole circle, because there's a movement. There's a mixture of being warm and friendly. There's a mixture of being firm and respectful. Okay? There's a mixture of being warm and friendly, firm and respectful, because we don't want parents to just give in and just allow their children to just do whatever. Children need guidance. Children need structure. Children need discipline. Children need boundaries. That's what makes a child. That's what grows a child. That's what helps a child to build their resilience muscle. It's all part of that. So find yourself somewhere there where there's a mixture and you're not super authoritarian, super permissive. Sometimes you get families where one parent is one way, the other parent is the other way. Try and definitely talk through things in your co-parenting styles so that you're right here in the middle with being warm and friendly and being firm. And I've added the word respectful, because respect is a big thing. Even in our culture, respect is a big thing. But one of the things that we do with respect is we focus respect on children respecting adults. And that is not a bad thing. Children must respect their adults, but we also need adults to respect their children. Respect is a two-way street. That's how they're going to learn, being respectful. Okay? Because if not, if we don't adjust and make these adjustments we need to make in our parenting, I think a lot about our children in adulthood. I parented from a long-term view. I say I parented as if I'm no more parenting. I parent with a long-term view. I think about who are those adults that I want to be relating with. Those adults that I want to relate with, those are the adults I'm talking to today as children. You've got to think long-term. Don't think, oh, I need to tell them off. I need to criticize them. I can tell them whatever I need to tell them. I'm the mother. I'm the father. I'm the boss. Yes, you are. But are you the influence? That's the key. Control, being the boss, that's only for a while. Influence is what you want to achieve, because your influence will take you all through their journey from childhood to adulthood. Your influence will take you there. But if you want to do control, that control is going to stop very soon. So don't focus more on control, focus on influence. And when you focus on influence, your children understand you better. There's more correlation, there's more listening, there's more cooperation, and you're able to parent them in the way that is best for them. Okay? I can go on so much in parenting. I can get carried away sometimes. So I need to be conscious of time as well. I love this quote. And it says, he who does not learn to endure will never become great. Our children need to learn to endure. They need to learn to endure those challenges. And I want to show you just a few. What I did, I said, okay, you know what? Let me actually show parents what character and skills that their resilient children will have. Because I need to show you the end, then now tell you how to get to that end so that we're working from having the end in mind. Okay? So resilient children, they're problem solvers. They come up with things. And what I love about resilient children is that in the future, in their adulthood, remember we're thinking long term. In adulthood, they can handle complex situations in their careers. They can deal with relationships, their personal lives, all that kind of stuff. So they're problem solvers. Resilient children are problem solvers. So don't be scared of the mistakes they make. Let's solve the problem. Let's sort what can they do better in those mistakes. That's what we need. Okay? So problem solving, very important. Emotional regulation, too important. Very important. That's a skill of resilient kids. They know how to manage their emotions like anger, frustration, and they take that into adulthood. And so they become better partners in adulthood, in marriages. They become better partners. When you see partners who cannot regulate their emotions, that means you know what I mean. So they didn't build resilience in them. But let's move on. Adaptability, especially with all the changes, because our environment, changing new environments, as I said at the beginning, all these things, our children that play sports, that change from one team. Oh, someone's knocking on my door. Oh, and I'm the only one in the house. Might be the postman. Can you guys just give me 1 second, please? Oh, my word. Just give me 1 second.
While we wait for Phinnah to come on through. How's that? Have you learned anything? Has anyone picked anything? Okay, Phinnah is back.
I am back. So sorry. That's my life as what do they call it? An empty nester.
Empty nester, that's the word. Empty nester.
Empty nester. Sorry, thank you.
You're going to have to tell us a little more about yourself so that those who haven't met you before will be able to understand
where I'm coming from.
Why are you an empty nester and you look this young? And you've already mentioned your daughter is 18.
Yes.
So you're going to tell us a little more about yourself so that, we get it in context.
Okay, makes sense. Okay, you know what? Let me stop sharing for a second, since we're family here. Okay, so Phinnah Chichi, and my youngest is now 18. She's just gone into university. I have 4 kids. The oldest is my stepson, and he's 30. I've got 24, 22, and 18. And recently in August, I lost my husband. My husband died from cancer, pancreatic cancer. And so my journey, I had a big pause earlier on this year from that. So after April, when I was in Aberdeen, then we got the diagnosis and then started all the work from there. And then he passed in August. So I've had a lot of challenges, and so that's why even resilience is a big topic for me. So I had to deal with the death of my husband and also my daughter going into uni. And so that's what's now made me a complete empty nester. And I say this now, I know I'm saying it with a smile, but it's been a tough journey. And so for me, even as I speak on parenting, I think my perspective on parenting has even shifted even so much more now, because I'm very conscious of time. I'm very conscious that life, we do not know what can happen in life. We don't know what can happen in life. And so when we don't focus on the relationship with our children and how we can raise more resilient children, then what happens in situations like this? How can our children bounce back? How can our children adapt to a situation now where there's no dad? As soon as I said that, I've had to just reflect on that for a second. So when we talk about this parenting journey and a lot of the changes that we need to make, it's for life, it's for legacy, it's for impacts. It's so that our children have that resilience to deal with any situation that may come our ways. We don't just want to tick the boxes in parenting. We want to create legacy. We want to create a lifetime. We want to be able to help our children so that in adulthood, they can cope with situations. And that's really the foundation of all this stuff. So I really want us to look at our parenting with how we've parented so far in 2024. And this is not to say we've been perfect. Remember what I said, it's not about perfection. It's about how can we be better? What can we do differently? I ask my children this every holiday, like every Christmas holiday. I'm going to ask them again this year. I always ask them, now that you guys are grown and stuff, looking back, what do you think I could have done differently? I ask them that question because as they get older, they start to think of more things. Oh, my mom did this, my dad did this. I like to ask them so that when they answer, I can then bridge that gap. I remember last year, my son told me that one of the things that he didn't like when he was about 8 or 9 was whenever his dad kind of argued with me, and I spoke back to the dad. He didn't like that. He just thought that at the 8, 9-year-old, he wished that I didn't reply because he knew that once I replied, then dad went on more and more. But he's 24 now. But when I was replying him last Christmas, I wasn't replying the 24-year-old. I was replying the 9-year-old. He told me when he was 9, sometimes he hardly slept because he would be like, oh, I wish mom doesn't reply back. I wish mom doesn't answer dad. But sometimes I needed to answer because I needed to get my own thoughts out. But to the 9-year-old, as I was talking to him last year, I said, I am so sorry that I replied back. I'm so sorry that you didn't feel, it made you feel upset. Sometimes you found it hard to sleep. I am so sorry about that. So I apologized to him. What I now did later on, this was like a few days later, I now spoke to the 24-year-old and I said, because I need him to understand in adulthood that sometimes we will have arguments, but it's important that we make the arguments healthy arguments and then resolve it in ways that actually benefits all of us. So I spoke to him now as the adults, that sometimes I kept quiet, but when I keep quiet, sometimes it goes on and on. So sometimes you have to say stuff because that's setting boundaries so that things can then be resolved. So I explained it to him that way. So you see the two explanations I made one in the moment. The child has told me how he felt in those days, and I apologized to that child. I apologized to his inner child. Later on, I went forward later on, a few days later, and I now explained it to him as an adult to adult conversation. So a lot of times when our children tell us stuff that we did, don't rush to defend yourself. Don't rush to say, well, after I put food in your house, or I did this, I did that. No, please address the issue, apologize, and then you can talk about it later. Please, it's very, very important, because these are things that I'm seeing a lot now with many of the young adults that I'm coaching. A lot of them are talking about the conflicts between them and their parents, because their parents are not understanding what happened in childhood. So again, I just thought to bring that in, and then so that you can also understand the context of what I'm sharing here about building resilience for our children. So Shirley, thank you for that little break. So maybe it was good that the postman came in at this point, isn't it? So we had that little interval. That's good. I'm just going to go back to that slide that I was sharing. I stopped on adaptability. Let me see. Oh, thank you so much. Thank you so much, Dimi. I see you. Thank you. Okay, we'll soon be wrapping up. It's not going to be too long more. I just wanted to give you those characters about resilience kids, and then you'll be able to then see why it's so important to help to build that resilience. So adaptability, very important. I wanted my slideshow, my thing to, there you go. That's it. That's it. Okay. Oh no, it's gone back. Bear with me 1 second. No, you're not going back to slideshow. Okay. All right, we'll continue. Again, that's resilience, isn't it? So you just keep going. You don't give up. Okay, so let's continue like this. Okay, perseverance as well. Resilient kids are persevere. They persevere. They've got that grit. They will keep on moving, because again, they're not shamed about that setback. They're not criticized about that setback. So there's an inner strength that each of our children have, and we need to help them to bring that inner strength out. So, and that's why I talk about not criticizing them when they make those mistakes. Instead, we encourage them. And in adulthood, they're able to build their career. They're able to maintain stronger relationships because of the resilience that we started building from them in childhood. So these things are very important. We have a big job to do, and we are capable of doing it. God is the one that gave us these children, and he's equipped us as well as parents. So we are definitely capable of doing this and helping our children. Yeah, very, very capable. Maybe what I will do, I will start from, my slideshow is not working. Okay, I'll just continue. Yep, strong social skills as well. Resilient children have very strong social skills. Resilient children are very optimistic. Yes, they may mess up, they will mess up, but there's something that optimistic children will say, you know what? I'm going to try again. I'm going to figure this out. Mom, I didn't get this right, but you know what? I'm going to figure it out. Dad, I didn't get this right, but I'm going to figure it out. That's what resilient children will do. So do you want these for your children? Let me know in the chat box. If all these characters that we've spoken about, your children may already have some of them, so which is good. I'm not saying that your children don't have it, but do you want these? When you think about resilience, the end goal is what we've just shared here. Being able to be adaptable, being able to have that grit, optimism, independence. That's what we want for our children. So that's the end goal to really be thinking about. When you can have this as a parent, when you can have these as your end goal, it helps you to then walk backwards. You see what I mean? It helps you to walk backwards, because what happens is, if we don't have a picture of those characters that we want, if we don't have a picture of it, then what we end up sometimes doing is we parent from fear. Oh, don't touch your phone because this might happen. Don't do this, because we start to parent from fear. And parenting from fear is the opposite of building resilience. The opposite of building resilience. So have that picture in your mind. These skills that I've shared here, are these what you want for your children? If this is what you want for your children, then let us start doing stuff about it. Let us stop doing stuff, because we want to have confident children. We also want to have compassionate children, and we want to have capable children. That's it. When I say children, when they get into adults, so individuals, humans. Now, are you ready to do what it takes to have this? Are you ready for it? Yes, you definitely want that. Yes. Definitely. And it's never too late. That's the beautiful thing about this. It's never too late. We are given opportunities every day. Every day we're given opportunities. It's never too late. Never too late. Where am I? Okay. Awesome. Let me just address just a few mistakes that we make. Then we can look at the solutions. After that, we're done. Some of the few mistakes, and especially because we come from a culture that focuses a lot on academic success, and there's nothing wrong with academic success. But the mistake that many of us make is that we then use that academic success as the sole measure of our child's worth, their self-esteem, their worth. If they don't do this, like we crack the joke. You see a lot of TikTok videos and Instagram videos where young adults are now telling what happened when they were young, that when we come back with a B, our parents will say, hey, why didn't we make an A? This, that. We have to be very cautious of those things. This is not about, we laugh about those things that are, or the parents will tell you, do the person that got A, does the person have two heads? Those are all things we laugh about, but really, that is a big mistake. That's not the comments to give your child when your child gets a B. When your child gets a B, encourage them. Good, well done on the B you got. I know you could do more. What can you do differently to now get an A? Encourage them. Congratulate them for the B that they got in the first place. Encourage them. That's how we build children who want to achieve more. Because you want your children to be go-getters. So you got to, it starts from encouragement. So yes, the overemphasis on academic excellence can be a mistake, especially when we're tying that academic excellence to their worth. And it's really important that we don't do that. Academic excellence is great. Don't stop it, but don't make it the full thing about if they don't do well, then they're nothing. Because that is not true at all. Okay. Another mistake that we make is that we avoid conversations about emotions. And when I tell parents about this, I'm very understanding in this area, because I tell you something, all of us in our generation, I'll say all of us in our generation, let me not generalize, but we didn't grow up with speaking about emotions in our homes. I know I didn't. Emotions was not something, it was about getting on with life. If you talk about emotions, we'll just say, get on, just stop being soft, stop being too sensitive, get on. So our children can come to you feeling anxious about making friends at school. And then what we might just tell them is, oh, go make new ones. Or friends don't matter, just focus on your studies. That's very invalidating. And if we do this kind of thing, then our children, you know what they will do? They will learn to suppress their emotions. They will learn not to share their emotions, because if they share it, we're going to dismiss them. And it's a very, very common thing. Just go make new friends. As if just making new friends is easy. It's not easy. That's a big deal. The same way you going into a new job is a big deal. That's how it is for our children. So instead, we come to them to say, oh, that must feel like a struggle. I'm so sorry you had to go through this. How can we make you feel better so that you can make newer friends? Acknowledge that anxious thing that they told you, so that they don't go on to suppress their emotions. Children that suppress their emotions cannot be resilient. Okay, so it's important to know that. Another thing, sometimes we have this fix-it approach. And this fix-it approach can come because we've struggled. A lot of parents struggled, and we don't want our own children to struggle the way we struggled. So sometimes we're overdoing things for them. If they forget their homework, you're trying to, go find their homework. Even maybe you even drive and take their homework back to them. No, don't do that. Let them suffer the little natural consequences of a detention because they forgot their homework. And so that later on, they will not forget their homework the next time. Because if we keep fixing it for them, they won't learn. They won't be resilient. And you're not doing it in a harsh way where you're saying, I'm not going to bring your homework for you. I'm not going to do this. Don't shout about it. They say, oh, they forgot their homework at school. Oh, wow. Oh, oops. Okay. All right. Don't worry. Next time you won't, when you come back home, just put your homework in your bag. Leave it at that. Don't go and start unless you want to do it the first time. I know I never did it. They will just have to deal with it the next day and then deal with whatever happens in school. And by the next time, you will see that they're not going to leave their homework at school. But again, you don't criticize them for it. That is the key, please. Yeah. Okay. Another one is imposing unrealistic expectations. And this is still very common. You know, sometimes when I say this thing, I I always think, but are parents still doing this stuff? You know, like in Nigeria culture, if you're, you know, our parents used to say that if you're not a doctor, a lawyer, an accountant, or an engineer, that means there's nothing else. So sometimes our children will come up with, they want to do sports. They want to do music. They want to do stuff. We tell them, oh, you know, you have to be a doctor. They make us proud. You know, sometimes these are very unrealistic expectations. If your children want to be doctors, they will be doctors. If that's their interest, they will go for it. And you're there to encourage them. But if they're not, please don't force them to do stuff just because you want them to do it. Please. It doesn't work. Many children today have gone in to do law, have gone in to do medicine, and you know what? In adulthood, they drop it. Well, they even give their parents a certificate. I've done this for you. Now I'm going to do my own stuff. So please don't force them. My daughter now, she's doing music. She's in school doing music as a degree. I know one part of my mind was like, oh my God, music. Then when you finish, what will happen? But those thoughts will come in your mind. Yeah. But you encourage her to keep going. She's going to go far with that music. She's going to go far with it. So let's not set unrealistic expectations for our children. The courses that we're seeing today, by next year, many courses will not even exist anymore. In 10 years' time, more different sort of courses will be coming up. When I started this parenting stuff, there wasn't anything called parenting, like parenting support job and all those kind of, not at all. But now we're hearing of different kind of roles in parenting. So there are different courses, there are different occupations, careers that are still coming up. So encourage your children in their individual abilities. You are the best person to encourage them in this. And it gives them that confidence. And the other mistake that we make sometimes is that, especially because we've come from our country into this country, we need to encourage our children to be able to balance our heritage, so your culture, but also the culture of the country they live in. Our children have to go to school. They have to go to school with other people in the countries that we're the country that we're in the UK, in Scotland, in America, wherever we live in the diaspora. We have to encourage our children to have the balance, because many children struggle. They struggle with, oh, I'm Nigerian at home. Then when I'm in school, I'm not even sure of who I am in school. Encourage them to embrace both cultures so that they can feel more confident in themselves and not feel that they have to mask in school or they have to mask at home. These are things that help our children build resilience. Very, very important that we do that. And so solutions to avoid these mistakes. The first thing is acknowledge them. Whatever of those mistakes that I've said there, those common mistakes that I've said, acknowledge where you fall into it. And then make an effort to start changing the ways that you talk to your children or the way that you approach them. Celebrate their efforts. So they made a B. So they made a level 7 right now in their thing. Okay, celebrate that level first. Yeah, and then praise them. Walk towards getting a higher grade. And empower them that they can do more. Encourage them to speak. Yes, they feel sad. A friend did not invite me for their birthday party. Oh, that's sad. I know I will feel sad about it. Validate that emotion. Don't just tell them, oh, it's no big deal. You have other friends. Don't validate that. Encourage that. Yeah. Let your children be able to face those age-appropriate consequences. Very important. Don't do too many things for them. I know you want them to have a softer life than the life you lived, but it's not going to help them either. We don't want you to be tough and harsh, but we want you to be firm and let them be able to deal with consequences. Okay? Support their passions. They love football. They love hammer throw like my son. Support. Even if you don't understand the sport, still support them. Because our children, when they know their strengths, they thrive on those strengths. And it's those strengths that will help them in their academics. Very, very important to know that. Bridge that cultural gap. Let them learn pride in their culture, in our cultures that we come from. Teach them to take pride in it, but also teach them to adapt to the diaspora culture as well. Let them know that, yes, they're Nigerian British or they're Nigerian Scottish, so just let them be able to embrace both so that they don't feel they have to fake in one place and fake in the other place. That's that masking I was talking about. And then also for parents, let's model resilience. Because there's a lot of, we go through a lot as parents. As parents, we wear many hats. You've come into a country, you have to adapt, go find job, go do this, make sure that there's food on the table, make sure that bills are paid. There's a lot that we are doing as parents. So we need to really be compassionate to ourselves. Self-compassion is very important. There's a lot of stuff we're doing, but show them resilience. Show them how you're coping with it. Even if you have to go and practice doing gratitude, your own self-care is very important, because that's when you can be able to model this resilience to them so that they know what you're going through. Sometimes, depending on the ages of your children, speak to them. Oh, I'm having a tough day at work today, but you know what? I've decided I'm going to take a little break. I've decided I'm going to spend some time with you guys. Then I've decided I'm going to do some planning later for how I'm going to handle those tough times I'm having at work. Let your children know that you have tough times at work, but let them also see what you're doing about it. That is key. So that they see, okay, so tough times will happen, but see what mom did, see what dad did. These are things that will help our children build the resilience that they need for their own life. Demonstrate how those challenges and how you're overcoming them. Even if it's things like phones. I remember, even as of a few months ago, one day I was on my phone, I said, oh my God, what am I doing for 2 hours on WhatsApp? Like, I was saying it out loud because, again, I was trying to talk to my children about time on the phone. Like, sometimes we've got to use very creative ways. So I use myself as an example. I would say, oh my word, 2 hours on WhatsApp. What was I doing on WhatsApp? No, this has got to change. Phinnah Chichi, this has got to change. I'll be speaking to myself, but speaking it out loud. This has got to change. What am I doing? And again, it's just so that they also have those kind of thoughts and they can go back to their phones to say, oh my God, how much time did I? No, this, because they learn from what they're seeing us doing. So model resilience. You're laughing, right? Yeah, I use myself as an example.
Sorry. I'm so sorry. I thought of my daughter like that. She would tell me that. Why are you doing the phone? Get off the phone.
Yes. Yeah, and you join her and say, yes, mom, get off the phone, stuff like that. So that when we're then telling them about their phone use, they know that we are there as well. We're not perfect with our phone use as well. And so they can hear us better. And that's really, really the key. And that's why I've ended here to say that our children's resilience, helping our children's resilience is actually in our hands. We can do more for our children's resilience. And the beautiful thing about it is the joy. Oh, if you see the joy in adulthood with our children, it's bigger than big. It's bigger than big. Your relationship with your children is key. It's really, really key. And if all of us as parents start to put in these things in place, learn, unlearn some of those mistakes I shared, those are some of the things you probably need to unlearn. Get yourself together, unlearn those things so that you have a more peaceful life with your children. Parenting, yes, they say parenting is difficult. Yes, I know that there's challenges in parenting. I usually like to use the word more about intentional. There's work to be done in parenting, but I don't want to say that parenting is hard. For me personally, I want to say that yes, it's intentional. Yes, there's a lot of work to do in parenting, but we can do it. We're equipped to do it. It's our job now, as Alvin Toffler said, because we're the literates of the 21st century. It's our job to be open to learn, be open to unlearn. And all of you here are open to learning and unlearning. That's why you're on this platform today. So let's take that forward in everything that we're doing with our children. Another thing I want to just share as I wrap up is that don't feel too guilty that you don't have too much time. Because sometimes, because we've got to go to work, we're not with our children 24/7. It's not about the quantity of time, guys. It's about the quality of time. It's about the quality of time over the quantity. So even if you have to go to work all day, when you come back, what time are you spending with each of your children? I used to do at least 10 minutes a day with my children. I might be in the kitchen, I might be whatever I'm doing, but each of them, I would have a 10-minute slot with them. After you find that they even telling one, oh, your 10 minutes is over, because they look forward to those times that you're spending with each of them. It's about the quality, because it's in the quality of time you're going to understand them better. And when you understand them better, you will know how to talk to them in the way that they can relate, they can understand. So that's what I have for you today, for all of us today. And I trust that something out of all of this has helped in one way or the other. Thank you so much for having me. God bless you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Phinnah. Like, where do we start now? Thank you so much. I want to start from the last point where you say we should model this resilience, because we sometimes come across to our children as superheroes. We don't let them see us when we're tidying up. We don't let them see us when we are struggling, whether it's a course that we're doing, whether it's our assignment. We don't let them see us deal with difficult friendships. We don't let them see us, just see the humanity in us.
Yeah.
And when we now get to our vulnerable state, we begin to wonder why they're acting in certain ways, not knowing that we have constantly modeled that superheroism to our young people. Thank you so much for, that for this, it's I feel like it's inspiring. He's motivated to do better. There's so much going on in the chat, like very educative. Thank you, for just making us see this part of you, and the vulnerability of your story of, just letting us know you and how you've shifted our perspective on parenting just by telling us that short, stint about you. I think God just wanted you to just kind of tell us, how it's possible that parenting is actually a long-term perspective. Because you can imagine, I have a toddler and I'm like, okay, once when he gets to like 9-year-old where his brother is, but I'm finding out that while I'm being this parent to this child at this stage of his life, I am being somebody else. I can't be that same mom to my 9-year-old. The conversation is different, the parenting style is different, the deliberateness of of intent with that child is different. My 7-year-old, the middle child, with everything that comes with that package, I have to also be that parent there. And I like the way you said that, create those 10 minutes. So I'm going to ask for the structure. Now we're going to ask questions. Please write your questions in the chat. Don't just say it's a nice, in-depth, explicit session. God bless you, ma. We know. Please, this is the time for you to actually think deep and ask those questions. Phinnah, how do we structure that time? Is it something we set an alarm for? Does it come during homework times? How are we able to structure that 10 minutes of quality time? And what time of the day do you think is best for that structure?
Yes, very good question. So the structure of it will depend on the structure of your home. But what I encourage is that quality time is not, the homework time is not quality time. Homework time is separate. Homework is homework. It's a time where you can just, even if it's not saying anything, where they're just telling you about stuff. It's their own time with you. It's not about, like, sometimes some people say, oh, quality time, let's watch TV together, and then you put your own show. And then that's what it's not quality time. The quality is about how is their interests. So whatever it is that they want to do in those 10 minutes, if they want to talk to you about something, if they want to show you something, so you guys make it with them. What do you want to do in this time? Like for me, what I did was that then when I was doing my 9 to 5, I was very in my 9 to 5 back then, with my corporate work. So then when I come back home, I was usually home by 6, and then 7 o'clock, it was Kenny's time. 7:15 was Daniel's time. 7:30 was Tamara's time. In that kind of way, something like that. And so at 7 o'clock, I will see Kenny just come downstairs. Me and him will be talking. I could even be in the kitchen. Maybe I was even eating. I've just finished eating, but it would be me and Kenny, just me and Kenny talking. He'll be telling me stuff that happened in school, or some thoughts that he has about. I remember during A levels, before A levels, what subject should I do? What subject should I not do? He would on this day he would tell me he's going to choose physics. This. The next day he would tell me he would tell me totally different subjects. But that was his own time, and then Tamara will come with her own time. Michael will come with his own time. So that's what we used to do. And that was how we used to create the 15 minutes. So sometimes they may even be talking more. And then the next person, because they know their own turn, their own time is there, they will say, Kenny, you've overdone your time. It's my time. So create small times. And guys, you don't have to start with 15 minutes. You can even start with a 5 minute first. And tell your child, and you know your children. If you tell your children that me and you, we have a meeting at 7 o'clock. Me and you have a meeting at 7:10. Me and you, your children will feel like, oh my God, yes, this is my time with mom. This is my time with dad. It's something, it's a big deal. And make sure that the quality about that time is that there's no telling off, there's no correcting, there's no criticizing, just quality. Let them just share. And then you just be listening. Wow, oh, that's really good. Well done. Boom. That's the end of the quality time. Correcting time can be another time, but don't mix correcting and homework and all that in that quality time. Just keep that quality time as quality time. You will see your children look forward to it some more. You will see your children now share more when with them. Yes, even when you're cooking. Yes, yeah. As long as they're talking to you, you're listening. That's good. And two of you can even be doing things. They could even be helping you to cut some stuff or clean some stuff. But two of you are talking. They know that it's a time with you. That's gold. Those quality times, and even now in their adulthood, they're still talking about it, and we still do it now. Just that I don't give them time. It's just now the quality time comes on randomly. But growing up, we had times. So I trust that helps.
Thank you for that. Timmy, this is your time. Please ask your question.
Thank you so much, Phinnah Chichi. I have to say that when Shirley said you were coming on, I was like, I have to be here today. So Shirley, I also want to thank you for putting this together. One of the things that stuck with me, Phinnah Chichi, when you were talking today was about influence. And I think I realized that I have confused being the boss as being influential. And when you were talking about that ends, I have seen it. I've actually seen that diminishing of, actually I cannot mandate you, especially as they grow up. I can't mandate you to do these things. One thing, you're bigger than me, so I can't even physically wrestle you to do what I want to do. But I guess what I'm trying to maybe understand and asking your thoughts about is that influence. I would like some more ideas, thoughts of what does that look like? What does building influence look like?
Yes, it's a very, very good question. And I'm speaking this now from experience. Because that building, what I noticed over time is that influence, how that influence comes up is the more you're able to listen to your children. Yeah. The more you're able to listen to your children, the more your children will trust you. Yeah. And it's from that trust that you then have the influence. Because they trust you, when you're then telling them and giving them suggestions, they're hearing you because they trust you. But it started from listening. And I tell you something, I asked this was, again, not too long ago, when one day my daughter said, oh, but mom, you're not listening. You're not listening to me. You're just not listening. And I was a bit shocked in my mind. I said, me that I'm a parent expert. That's this girl telling me I'm not listening. But this is me in my thoughts. Remember, your thoughts don't have to be what you then say. So this was going on in my head. And I said, but why? Tell me, what makes you think that I don't listen to you? She goes, because she feels that when I listen to her, that I reiterate what she says. So when she's talking, and then I say, oh, okay, I hear you saying this, that's when she knows that I'm really listening. I said, oh, okay. So I started to do that more with her. Then I said, okay, let me actually ask my son how he thinks that I'm listening. And Kenny says, well, when I'm listening, I nod my head. So he knows I'm listening. So can you see how two of them have different interpretations of listening? But because I now started focusing on this girl, when I'm talking to her now, I need to be more conscious of, okay, I hear you saying, so I'm now reiterating back. So because me and her in that constant conversation, she now knows I'm listening. With Kenny, I make sure I'm nodding, but I noticed that over time, and this is what they've told me, that over time, because they saw that I kept on listening to them, because they said that I kept on listening to them, they trust me with what I'm going to share with them. So building influence is about listening first. When you can get their attention, when you can listen, now they can talk to you. Now they can understand what you're saying. Now you can influence them. I still have them up till even 2 days ago. Kenny was calling me to ask me of what my thoughts were on some email he wants to send out to someone. And I shared with him my thoughts. And again, it showed back to that influence. You have influence. Let them share their opinions. When you allow your children to share their own opinion, it doesn't mean you have to take their opinions on, but leave them. What do they think about this situation? What do they think about this? Get their thoughts together, because the more they can express their opinions to you without the judgment, without the criticisms, then they start to trust you more. And it's from that trusting that you're more influential, and that influence stays long term. So listening, getting their opinions, listening to their opinions, it builds your trust, the trust they have in you and the trust that you have in them. And then that trust is what translates to influence. I hope that helps, Lena.
Thank you so much. Yes.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to say that I have also understood when you were talking about that the parent I am today is not the parent that you are, and I also took on board when you were saying be compassionate with yourself. It's
Yes.
almost like forgiving yourself, because the Timmy parent I am today is very different from the Timmy parent that I was. Even the I think it was in April that you came for the Mother's
Yes.
Day out, and I can the Timmy today can say to the Timmy then, these are the things you were doing wrong
Yes.
at that time.
Yeah.
But it's also about forgiving myself to say, okay, but at least I was able to take that information, and I'm trying to put it into practice.
Yes.
And I will say to you, it's not always perfect.
No.
There have been instances where I will say that things you've said have come through, and just as I'm about to vent my frustration, I'm like, draw back, and it's
Yes.
changed the conversation. But it's very much a journey. So I wanted to thank you again so much for helping me on that journey and improving my thinking, so that I see this Timmy changing little by little every day. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Timmy. Thank you, Phinnah. Oh, we have Blessing.
Blessing.
It's your turn, please.
Okay, thank you, Phinnah, for the
Welcome.
wonderful session.
You're welcome.
My question is about saying no, because does no build resilience in children? Because I've come to a point that I catch myself saying, I'll just say no even before I think about the question the judge is asking me. So is it detrimental or is it helpful? Is it helping them to, because I don't know, I don't want them to be like, maybe they're expecting yes, and so maybe when someone tells them no in the future, then it brings their spirit down. I want them to be used to, it could go your way, it could not go it may not go your way sometimes. But am I overdoing it when I say no, no, no? Can I watch TV? No. Can I press your phone? No, no. So where do we draw the curtain on saying no?
Yeah, I love your question, Blessing. It's a very, very practical and everyday question. And the intention, we want our children to be able to understand no. Very important. There's something I teach between there's a thing I teach on intention versus expression. So our intention when we say no is healthy, because we don't want them to be on the phone for too long. What I encourage parents to do is give a reason of the no for the no. So don't say no in an angry way. If you're upset about what they're doing and you need to say no, remember in that diagram I had, I said firm and respectful. So the firmness is in the no, but in the way you express it is respectful. No, it's not time for you to use your phone at the moment. We have to do these first. Yeah. So that no doesn't come with a hash. Because what happens with our children, the more they hear no in the anger, they're not even seeing the no, it's the anger behind the no that they're seeing. So they now see no as a negative word. And no is not negative.
Okay.
No is not negative. No is just, okay, not yet. That's really what it is. Not now. It's not time. And now in our structure, in the routines that we have, you need to do your homework first. This is not your phone time use. So it's about explaining. But what I see, many older parents, I'm not saying you guys, but there are many parents who say, but why should I have to explain when I say no? My no is my no. It's important for you to explain so that your children don't make the wrong assumption about that no. Because our children, when they hear, no, you cannot do it. No, 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 no. Our children hear, this person doesn't love me. This person doesn't care about me. I don't matter. I am nobody. That's what they hear behind those no's, especially when those no's are said in a harsh way. So again, if you can, as a growing parent, what you can learn to do is, if you can really catch your thoughts when they're doing something that you're saying, or when they ask a question and you want to say that no, catch your thoughts. What is flowing with your thoughts? What's the expression? Because the no is still right. Don't change the no, but it's how you express that no that matters.
Okay.
That's the key.
Okay.
It's the way you express it that matters. So I trust that helps.
Thank you so much. It does.
You're welcome.
That is such a powerful one there. So the way to say no now, blessing, just smile, just say no to me.
Don't go too soft now, because too soft, remember, we still need the firmness.
You say no.
No, don't be soft.
That's how they're going to hear you, you know. But you just still have to say no. They know they know. They're sure. They will even
No
say
with love. Yes, no with love.
You said?
I said no with love.
Yes,
No,
no with love.
my
Yes.
children will say, Mommy, I know you're going to say no anyway, so I didn't want to ask you, but I will ask.
Yep. And I love that. I love that about our kids. I want them to ask. I do.
Yeah.
Because that's what we want. We want them
But
to
I
be
will
able to
ask.
ask.
I'm like, that's bold. Well, today is
Yes.
a different day, so maybe yes.
Yes.
But yes, thank you so much for
Thank
that
you.
reminder. We are so grateful. So this is it, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for joining us today. We're grateful to Phinnah. Phinnah, please tell us what you have lined up. Like, where do we reach out to you? Do you have resources that we can connect to? Please
Yes.
let us know.
I'll put my Instagram page on the chat box, because there's so many things that's coming up next year that I'm putting into place. But follow me on Instagram. I share lots of tips, lots of short videos and tips that just helps to remind us. Even the videos that I share, they even remind me myself as well. So we're all in this together. There's no, and as I said, and I think Timmy repeated that as well. There's nothing like a perfect parent. We're all growing parents, purposeful parents. So really think about the end in mind, what you want for your children, and then parents from that. I'm there. So I'll put my Instagram details in the chat box. Yeah. Thank you
So
so
the
much.
date is the 10th and 11th of May. Please set your calendars for the Mother's Day Out 2025. We are good to go. We are hoping that there is nothing that is on Phinnah's calendar.
What date did you say?
10th and 11th of May 2025.
11th of May. Okay.
Please check the calendar now as we watch.
Yeah.
We watch. Phinnah will be joining us. This is she's an absolutely powerful resource. The truth is that in Scotland here, we really, really, really were in desperate need of a parenting coach who understands this parenting journey, who has experienced it, who has lived it, and I love the word, who is growing in it,
Yeah.
and we needed that community because, like I said, that if you go to church, there is a conversation about parenting that the church will give you. But when you get a parenting coach, there are areas that will be touched that you probably wouldn't be able to get that from the church, because you'll be able to actually sit down nitty-gritty like we've had today. There's so much that we've had today, from the slides, from the way Phinnah has been able to break it down with the stories, that you can actually sit down and reflect on your own parenting and see that, okay, this is where I'm struggling, this is what I'm going to put into practice first. I'm going to create that time, whether it's cooking time, whether it's playing time, whatever time, I'm going to create that 10 minutes, 5 minutes slot for my children and I. And just all that is what. Thank you, Phinnah. Thank you for bringing that on board for us right here today. So ladies, please mark your calendars. Mother's Day out is the 10th and 11th of May. Why are we picking May instead of April? Our usual week is Easter week, and we don't want to touch your Easter. So please make plans. Be there. It's going to be more in-depth, more hands-on, more powerful 2025. We're excited about it. We want to appreciate everyone who has joined us today and everyone who came for Phinnah. Okay,
Thank you.
no problem. Thank you for coming. Thank you for joining us. We would like your feedback. So please go on social media. If you're here, you can actually screenshot it now. If you are watching from your phone, that Phinnah is here. Put it on your social media, share it that you were, this is what you got today. This is what you learned. Please, when you get something good from it, tell other people about it. So please share it on your social media, share it on your LinkedIn. It was a very, very resourceful class today, very powerful one. We cannot deny that. We're indeed truly, truly grateful. Everyone is saying thank you for the insights, saying it's an impactful one. It was informative. Yes, I know everyone. It's Saturday, of course. We're gonna leave now, but I just want to say thank you. We're live streaming on YouTube, so if you want to connect, watch it again from Aderonke's session all the way to Phinnah's session is right there on YouTube, so you can go back there and connect and watch as well. From all of us at the Mother's Day Out from Bullying Recovery and Awareness, we say thank you, Phinnah. Thank you, Aderonke. Thank you, everyone who has taken our time this Saturday to join us. We hope this helps you. We hope this Christmas is different. We hope you're going to start the new year with strength, with a renewed relationship with your family. It's family time. Family time doesn't have to be scary. It doesn't have to be overwhelming. It can actually be a time of joy, peace, and love. And that's what we're wishing everyone. Thank you so much. Thank you, Phinnah. God bless you.
God bless you all. Thank you so much and have a lovely Christmas.
Thank you, Phinnah.
God bless
Thank you
you.
so much.
Thank you so much.
Merry
Thank you so
Christmas.
much.
Thank you, Shirley.
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
All right. Thank you.